where you are. This is Will McBride with Market Chameleon and Raj with a beautiful background. Such a wonderful place you live, Raj. It's incredible. Every time we're here, I wish I was in your backyard. It's so beautiful. But Raj is one of the very first and very active chameleons. He and another very active chameleon, the doctors, have set up a Discord, which is super popular with the chameleon community. Just before we get started, if anyone wants access to that Discord, they can email me at williammcbride@gmail.com, and I will give you access to that Discord. That Discord is run really by Raj and Jake and the fellow communities that, it's community run. Really has nothing to do with Market Chameleon, Dimitri, or myself. A little some ground rules for tonight. We are running off of Zoom, but are also streaming live on YouTube. You can ask your questions of Raj on YouTube in the chat. On Zoom, you can also ask them via the chat, or you can raise your hand and ask them via your voice live. Right, Raj?
Yeah. As long as you're in Zoom, you can raise your hand. You have to raise your hand, and then Will can make you a panelist, and that way you can go live.
Perfect. And we just got a message from someone on the chat. I will actually type my email in both the Zoom chat and the YouTube chat so everyone has it. And I'll probably mention it a few times because I'm sure Raj may mention Discord. Just as people pop in and out, they all have access to my email. And if you have any problems with anything on Market Chameleon at any time, you can email support@MarketChameleon.com, and either Dimitri or I will get back to you, hopefully as soon as we can, with help if you have questions. So have I left anything out, Raj? Or are we good to go, you think?
Nope, we are good to go.
All right.
Okay, so let me start. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. And let me share my screen. Okay, so this is, I guess everybody should be able to see my screen.
Yep, looks
okay, good. So today's topic is analyzing options open interest and volumes. And this I've realized, like Will has mentioned before, and I've also mentioned, I'm very new to options trading in the sense that I've been doing it since 2 years, but seriously since 1 year. I do a lot of technical analysis, and of course I use Market Chameleon, which is a great product, especially for options traders. But recently I have been added to my technical analysis skill set. This is basically analyzing open interest and volumes, which is very critical now because that drives the market in many different ways, especially when you see highly liquid stocks, and especially the meme stocks, what they call, and the Robinhood traders that are come in primarily deal with options, and that actually plays a big role in moving the stock price. So,
hey Raj, could we hold on 1 sec? I did
sure.
forget to do one thing. Sorry about that. I just want to go through the disclaimer real quick.
Oh yeah.
Everyone can take a quick look at that. For just so you know, Market Chameleon, myself, Raj, none of us are registered investment advisors or broker dealer. We are not here to making recommendations. We are basically just giving you ideas how we use Market Chameleon. So take a quick look at that. That should be enough. Sorry for that, Raj. There was one other thing.
No,
actually. For those on YouTube, I am going to put the link to the Zoom. If you want to hop over and ask your question live verbally, we would love it. So I'll put that link in the YouTube chat as well, so you can pop over if you want. Sorry for the interruption, Raj. There you go.
No worries. It's a good thing you remembered. I had forgotten about it too. Okay, so this is if you are an options trader, especially when you do risk-defined options, it's very important to look at the volumes on particular strike prices and the open interest, and that can give you a really good edge in the market. Okay, so what I'm going to discuss in today's webinar, I'm probably going to be talking for 30-35 minutes, and then we would like you to fill the rest of the time with question and answers, and like Will mentioned, you can come on live. Okay, so the goals of those 30-40 minutes are going to be, I'm going to show you where to find this data, which is basically open interest and volumes for options, and how to analyze it visually, in the sense how to graph it, not just numbers on the screen, but how to make it a visual graph, and how to refresh that data, because open interest is settled only at the end of the day by the OCC, so it's frozen, but volume is constantly changing throughout the day, and so that needs to be refreshed as well. So you need to see the latest volumes, okay? And how do you check out the historical options volumes? All of this using Market Chameleon, okay? So having said that, let me go to Market Chameleon. Okay, so when you go to MarketChameleon.com, this is the homepage, right? This is a new homepage that was launched, I think, a month ago, which gives you, it selects out of the thousands and thousands of trades, it selects the best one with the best yield in the shortest amount of time, with a good win rate and all of those things. So you go to the old landing page. If you just hit enter site, this is where this was the earlier landing page, and this one gave you whatever are the liquid options, the active options. You could what are the bullish opportunities, bearish opportunities, all of that stuff. Okay, so this is that page. So let's get into today's topic. So let's see. I'm going to get into one of the stocks. So we will drill down deeper into this. So let's say I'm going to look at AMC. Right, AMC is one of the highly liquid ones, and if you see AMC here, so the options volume was almost 1 million today. That's just today, right? So if you want to drill down deeper into this one, if I click this control and click this here, it'll open AMC specific page, right? And this, I mentioned this in all of my webinars. Many people don't use this feature. To be able to have multiple tabs, you just control, when you click the control on your keyboard, let's say I want to look at the options activity on this as well. So now when I control click, you'll see that it opens in a new tab rather than, on the same tab, okay? So we are on the AMC menu now. So this is the horizontal menu, which scans the whole market for you for different, using different screeners and, different parameters. This is the vertical menu, which is into a specific ticker. So right at the top of the vertical menu, it tells you which particular ticker you are drilling deeper into. So you're in AMC and you have the vertical menu. So we are interested in the options section. So let's start with where do you find this data? So if you go to options chain, so this is very similar to many brokers, how they have all the options related data, all the strike prices and different expiries. But in Market Chameleon, it's actually organized in a way I like it, and there's a lot of hidden data here. Okay, so let's see how we explore this. So at first glance, as soon as you click on that, it goes to the the most what is recent or nearest expiry. So you see the expiries here, and if you click on different expiries, you get the strike prices for those. Okay. So let's look at this one, which is this Friday. Is it Friday? I guess Friday or Thursday. So, and these are all the different strike prices. So on here, on the options chain, you can see a few things at a glance, right? You can, for example, you see the spot prices for all of them, and you have here some buttons that you can click to highlight certain parameters. For example, one standard deviation, right? So this will show you, like, you can see that it's now highlighted. Whatever is the current spot price, one standard deviation from away are these, okay? So most active calls and puts, now this will be highlighted. Basically, it tells you which have the most volumes, right? You can look at the 20-day moving averages. So all of these you can explore on your own. So I'm going to stick to the spot price. So in here, you have various columns. So you have the call side and you have the put side. And you can see the volumes that are today's volumes. Now the market is closed, so these are not going to change. But throughout the day, as you refresh this page, you'll see these volumes changing. What if you want to see the open interest on the strike prices? So in here, you have a customizable column, both on the call side and the put side, which shows you other parameters that you can toggle between them. So let's say I want to toggle between open interest, right? So I want to see open interest. So if I'm looking at the 43 strike price, this was today's volume, and this is the open interest from which was at the end of the day yesterday. These are what the open contracts on this particular strike for. Similarly, I can do this on the put side and look at the open interest. So this is one of the places where numerically you can see what is the open interest and what is the volume that is traded on that contract today. So this is today's volume. And this will now, when the things are settled, some of these might, it might increase or decrease depending on what type of trade it is, whether it's to open or to close. This open interest will change tomorrow, right? So this is one place where you look at it. So far, so good. Any questions?
Everything's good.
Okay. So feel free to raise your hand or type in your questions, and we'll field them from there, and he will hand them over to me. Okay, so now you saw this, and the other powerful feature of this is you have access to a lot of relevant data right here. So if you click on the tabs on the top here, so if you look at the volume, this gets you graphically the volumes, that is today's volumes for each of the for example, this one is giving you from market open to market close, right? How many options, puts and calls are traded, right? So it visually tells you what is the call volume and what is the put volume, and you can hover over one of these vertical bars to actually see. Say for example, at between 9:45 and 9:50. In the 5-minute time frame, so many 18,000 calls were traded and about 9,000 puts were traded. So you can look at it this way. Now, what if you want to see by strike price, which strikes are being traded? So if you click on this is going to tell you today's volume and which strike prices were the most active. So you can immediately see that the 40 strike price was the one that was most actively traded. Right? So visually you can see that this is one where most interested, and these ones are kind of like support and resistance levels. So these the strike prices which tend to have the most liquidity, which are the most traded, tend to be where the price is either going to get magnetized to, because that is where the liquidity is. The price is going to move towards these especially when it is a options driven ticker. This is not going to happen with all tickers, but especially with meme stocks like AMC, GME, all of those, which are being driven by options more than fundamentals or their earnings or underlying prices. This is what tends to happen. Okay, so like I said, this is by strike prices. So the way I got here is if you click on volume, by default, if you click on volume, it's going to show you. If I click on the ticker itself, it's going to show you your minute by minute or 5-minute time frame volumes traded today. If I click by strike, it's going to now show me which strikes have the volumes and compare them to others using a bar chart. If I look by expiration, so today which expirations were traded the most, and as you can see, because this is a meme stock, people want to get in and out very quickly, right? They don't want to bet their money or risk their money on longer time frames. So you can see the most volume was in the nearest expiry.
Hey, Raj, we did have a question typed in from Prakash, and it was just done about a minute ago. And he's asking, I'm assuming he's talking about the graph. It says it shows call writing and buying in a different way. He's asking, does it show if someone's call writing or buying in a different way, or is it only the number of calls?
No, this one, you basically it's showing the volumes of options traded. Whether that person is actually opening the position or closing the position, we cannot tell just by looking at the volumes. right? Or the traders are opening or closing. But this is something you can find that data or make, what do you say, estimates of whether that interest people are opening the more position on that or closing it. In other places, you can basically do that, right? So Dimitri has covered that in many of his webinars about dark pools and things like that, and how to analyze.
No matter what, there's always a buyer and a seller on any contract.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
It's not, you don't know,
Yeah, but
the
individually,
intention of the
let's
person
say,
to enter in the market, but you know there's someone on the other side taking the order. So there are buyers and sellers each time.
Yeah. So essentially, this is, you never look at this like just because somebody has opened a position here. If you see a big chart here, doesn't mean that they have opened a single-legged contract. It could be a multi-legged complex position. It could be an iron condor. It could be just a vertical spread. They have opened a call and put. It could be a straddle, triangle. So there could be another segment, another side that they've opened. So even if you see, they could have a bearish call position. For example, a vertical credit call spread, which basically is going to drive the price lower, right? So that is something that you have to do further investigation on. Anyway, so coming back to the topic, so this volume, you can explore this by strike prices, by expiration, like I told you, which of the expirations traded the most. And you can see that the nearest upcoming expiration, 23rd of July, traded the most. Then as you click on this, if you want to go back to the default, you just click on the ticker, it goes back to default. So you can, as you click on this graph changes, right? And by expiration, by strike. And now you can also look at, let's say you want to see by individual expiration dates. So you want to see if only for, let's say, 23rd, which strike have been traded, which strike prices have been trading, right? So you can see that. And you can also see minute by minute for that particular expiration, whether the interest or the volumes are increasing or decreasing. And you can see that, beginning of the day, which is typical, the volumes are higher, middle of the day, again, they taper down, then higher, and again, at the end of the day, again, by closing, they're again higher, right? So this is how you do that. And if you want to look at another expiration, you just click on this. And now this is the next one, which is 30th of July. 1 week after Friday. So this tells you what are the strike prices that are trading for that particular expiration. Okay, so this is very handy. And if you want to reset this, just click on the ticker again and you go back to the default. So this is how you can slice and dice the volume data. You can do the same with open interest. Now, if you go to the open interest, and open interest, as you know, is settled at the end of the day, right, by the OCC. Options Clearing House, after everything settled down, that is what is published, and this is a static number that doesn't change throughout the day. So here you can see, again, you have the same kind of tools out here. If you click on this, this is going to show you open interest by how it has been over the last few days, whether it's been increasing or decreasing. You also see here the proportion of puts and calls, right? So open interest has been, you can see generally about the same, or a little bit going down on AMC, right? So on 7th of June, it was high and it's reducing. And you can also look at the last 30 days. So this is last 30 days, this is the 12 months, right? So you can do, hold on a second, what do I do? If I click on AMC, open interest. So open interest, this is by expiration, this is by, sorry, open interest last 30 days. Last 30 days. Okay, so this is the open interest, how it's been changing day by day. If I click on this, I guess that's the same thing. If I click on this, this should change. Yeah, so this now gives me, it takes a few seconds to pull the data. So it tells me how month by month the open interest has been, for which open interest by month. So product average open interest by month. So this is month by month, it gives the same data, okay? Now, if I look at by expiration, similar to what we did on volumes, you can, slice and dice this data visually. So you can see, if you look by expiration, you can see the open interest is highest on the 23rd of July, which is upcoming. Then again on the August 21, August 20, AMC 20. So this is 20, AMC 2023. Hold on, I'm just trying to, so this is August 21, okay, by expiration. So this is by expiration. So this is the expiration. Here you can see that, and you can see what is the open interest on those. And you can see that September has a big open interest. So there might be something of interest happening in September, which is this one here, right? So you can see the volumes are also quite high for that, even though it's further out. So this can tell you that maybe there is some earnings related event, or maybe this is some other company related event that is coming up. You can again do it by strike, the open interest, which strikes are the open interest. Now this is really interesting because this is looking at all expirations. So whatever the open interest is on, for let's say 43 strike on 23rd July, 30th of July, the 43 strikes. So this is the open interest here on 6. So it's going to add up all of that, and it's going to show you a total open interest on that. So you can see here, this one is going to be the total for across all expirations. So this is again interesting. You can see some of these strike prices have big bars. So there's a lot of open interest on these. And these tend to be like magnets that are going to draw the price to them. Because there is, as you know, that market makers, when they trade you, when they sell you options or whatever, they're hedging the position. So there is hedging activity going on, delta neutral hedging, which is going to drive the prices towards this strike prices because of the hedging that happens. Okay, so this is by strike, and then again you can look at open interest by expiration. So you can look at, let's say you want to see on 23rd of July which strike has most open interest. So it's going to be, it's the 40 strike, and you might see that AMC on this by Friday, depending on how the volume shapes up, it might get drawn to this particular strike price, 40. So this is something that you need to observe depending on the volumes and open interest. If you look at the volume, let's say by strike, and we can see that the 40 has the most volume again, and open interest by strike again is the highest at 40. So because of all the hedging that is going to happen, the price of AMC is going to be magnetized towards 40. So
that's no guarantee though, right?
Yeah, it's not guaranteed, of course, but especially for stocks or tickers that are driven by options volumes, because there's
Jake, actually, we just had Jake popped in with a more of a comment than a question or answer. He's like, he noticed as you're going through the graphics of the open interest, he said a big way out of the money call volume beyond 100 appears to be an attempt to manipulate the price of the underlying. He says it's worth looking out for. Just an FYI for those who don't know. Okay. Jake, aka the Doctor, is a very active trader and a big person in the Chameleon community. He always has interest in ideas. Jake, if you want to come on live, just raise your hand and we could discuss that further if Raj wants. But yeah. And we did have another question. I think it was Richard, not to jump in the way of your presentation, Raj, but sure. He was asking, when you're looking at this, do you consider block volume as well? Do you consider the price on the bid and the price on the ask when you're analyzing it?
That is something, for you to analyze. I don't really look at that. What is most important is the open interest and the volumes, right? So you know that which are the strike prices that are active. Now, whether whether people are playing, complex positions, or that is something that's out of the scope of this particular webinar. But I don't really look at that. And that will be just overwhelming to look at whether it's on the, ask side or put side and things like that.
Yeah, we do have questions that are popping out that are kind of outside the scope of this webinar. Just so everyone knows, Dimitri and I do a show every morning live, starting at 9 to 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, and we do it on YouTube. We send out emails about it. But if you register for our YouTube channel, MarketChameleon.com on YouTube, you'll be alerted to the webinars, and they stream live there. Actually, they stream live right on the site as well. I'll put a link in both YouTube and on the chat to that page, so you know where it's streaming. But questions, I think Rail just asked, there are a couple questions in there that are kind of off topic with tonight's webinar. So just bring those questions tomorrow. Dimitri loves answering that type of stuff.
Yeah,
so
perfect. Yeah. And I am not by any means, Dimitri is, 100x the knowledge of what I can present you. I'm just as an individual ordinary user, how I use the tool. There are other more expert users who, use the tool differently. So with my limited experience and knowledge, whatever I know, I'm sharing that.
Well, okay. Jake did have a question of you, Raj.
Sure, yeah.
Jake is asking, he says you present some great technical analysis for your earnings plays on the Discord. Okay. He's wondering if while you're doing that, are you also looking at the volume data with a specific charting tool, or simply looking at Market Chameleon platform? Do you use another?
No, definitely. Whenever and that's a very good point. Like Jake knows, I do a lot of earnings plays, but whenever you have a play, it's very important to do your due diligence in the sense that you got to look at it from multiple perspectives and multiple angles, and also sometimes bounce the ideas off other chameleons and other users. What do you think of this? Because everybody has a different perspective, and it's valuable to see the other side or a different perspective on what your position is, so that you are doing an unemotional clinical play and not, just going on gut feeling, or you have a feeling that this is going to happen. You're going on data, and Market Chameleon is all about data. What does the data tell you? And that is what drives the market. It's the order flow, and what we're looking at is order flow. Where is money flowing in and out, and that's going to drive the stock price. So that is important. And yes, to answer Jake, what would I look at it? I look at, for example, first the profit loss diagram for the particular play. Then I look at technical analysis, which is very simple tools like moving averages, crossovers, whether it's in bearish trend, bullish trend, things like that. And then I look at the options volumes and open interest to see which strike prices are very active, and that can give you. So looking at all of this in a holistic way, and then you make your decision whether what you want to play. Many times, some of the plays that I want to do get overruled because I look at the open interest or liquidity or volumes, and then it just doesn't make sense. Though it might my initial judgment might say that this is a good play, but it's going to change. Okay, so moving on. So it's important to look at multiple perspectives for sure. So we looked at these two tabs, which is volume and open interest, and you know how now to slice and dice this data. And this is visual, unlike what the data is here, just numbers. I'm more of a visuals person, being an architect, and I like to see it visually at a glance. It gives a lot more information to me. So on other places, you can look at key trades. So this is where it gives you a tabular format of which are the most active expirations or whatever. So you can see, for example, you can sort this table now, and you can see if there has been a huge number of trades. So for example, it was a put out of the money put. There is 2,600 contracts were traded at noon today approximately, and this is the expiration. So if you click on this, now you can see that what are they looking at. If you think that this is one off, like if it's a naked position opened, which is buying a put, then you can see the profit loss diagram for this. You can look at the details for this, of that particular trade, what happened, and which exchange, and all of that stuff. So this is handy to have right here. So you see a profit loss diagram chart, but this is making the assumption that this is just a naked position. It could be very well be a complex multi-legged play. So you don't know. So like this, you can look at the key trades. You can look at most active options. So this one now gives you a chart of, you can sort it by, let's sort it by volume. So if you sort it by volume, and you can see that the 40 call, which again verifies what we saw in the graph, right? The 40 strike is the most active. And you can see that it has 72,000 contracts were traded, right? So these are the number of trades. And so you get all of that data here. So this is most active. So these are the tabs: volume, open interest, key trades, and most active options. As you drill down the data. And there's a lot more places that you can get this data. So I'm showing you just a single page, which is the options chain, and how I drill down to the volume and open interest from here, right? So you have the options chain here, but you can graph it out using these tabs. Let's look at some other places now. Okay, so if you want to see activity, so the other one is activity for today, right? So what is the activity going on in options? So remember that we are in AMC ticker, we are in the options section, and we're looking at options activity now, right? So as you click on this, you will see there are tabs here. So you have the main tab, which I don't go into these other tabs because everything I need I find on the main tab. So here, again, by expiration, you get to see the volume and open interest compare, right? So this is for that whole expiration. So if now here, you will see that all of these again are links. So as I click on this, this will give you similar graphs as I saw on the option chain. Similar, but a little bit different, and a little bit different, juxtaposition of the data. So you get to see them placed side by side. So looking at the open interest for 23rd July, you can see this by strike, and you can see by last 30 days, right? How has the open interest, you can see, has been increasing for this particular expiration. And this happens typically as you come closer to expirations, you will see more trades happening. And so the open interest has been increasing, definitely, right? And you can see, so you can see the proportion of puts and calls. So generally, overall, if you look at it, there are more more calls than puts. So this itself means that whoever is buying this expects they're buying more calls. You can guess that these are going to be Robin Hood type of traders who are just putting money in and expecting to make a big return, right? So they're buying more calls because they think this stock is going to keep going up and up and up. But of course, the market always does something else. So there is also, if some of you know, there is something called as a max pain theory in the options world. So what the market is going to do is going to cause the most pain to most people, right? So if most people are buying calls, the market is going to make them lose their money. And this is what happens because of the hedging. Like whoever is set, let's say Robinhood trader buy the call option, at the other end, there is a market maker who is selling him that. So he is going to hedge his position, delta neutral, right? So that actually has an impact on the market. Anyway, so if you click on the open interest, you get this graph. If you click on the volume now, so this is, and this one, let's say one thing I noticed, and maybe this is a suggestion for Will and Dimitri, that this one doesn't update unless I refresh the page when the market is open. Right now, if I refresh this page, you'll see that 667,000. But let's say I open this tab in the morning, and after 3 hours, I'm still looking at this data. This will be old data. So you got to refresh this page every 15 minutes or so if you're still analyzing it, and then this updates accordingly, right? So this volume is going to keep changing. So then you can see Again, add individual strikes, what are the volumes, and you can do that for every different strike. Okay, so you see that. And so this one now, if you are an volatility trader, and this might be interest to you, so the implied volatility, ATM implied volatility, if you click on this, this is going to give you volatility related charts. So whether the at the money implied volatility from morning, how it has been changing for this particular expiration, right? So this is only for this expiration. Volatility has been going up. So as you come, as you come to the end of the day, basically it's more volatile. And this is historical volatility. So historically, though, volatility has come down, right? So AMC, once upon a time, it was a very hot meme stock. So of course, volatility, implied volatility was high, but today it's lower. So you can look at this. So all of this is embedded right in this here. So as you click on this, and if you click on, you know, the 25 delta calls and puts, it will give you the what is it called, the smile graph for that. And you can see at different strikes, like going away from the current price, or implied volatility tends to, you know, go up further away from the at the money, right? So that's the typical smile. So this is the second page. So I'm going to pause here a little bit. Any questions about this page?
Well, there was one question that's kind of about this page, but not exactly. He was asking, Rael was asking, can you show where you find a chart of option prices? I am not aware of a chart that prices every option. I think you can get an end of day if you click off. If you're on the options chain and you go to the strike, I think if you click on that strike, you can see the end of day for an option, and it goes back like, 30 days or something. That's the only place I know where I'm aware of it. I don't know if the site has so much information and everyone uses it differently. I mean, you're looking at the IV graph. That's the only place I know. Like if you clicked Raj, if you X out of this, and you go to the strike, you click on the strike.
That's the same one, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and go to track. I'm sorry, it's tracking at the end.
Yeah, tracking. Okay.
And so there you get the put and call details, and I think that's the closing price. You can.
I think
traffic, not graphically.
At this point, I don't. I think if you click on this ask and bid prices, most of these are highlights. If you click on this, I think you should get. Oh no, this adds it to the analysis. Okay, hold on. I think I remember seeing that somewhere. Now, off the top of my head, I don't remember, but it is there. I think under historical charts. So this one. In one of these places, it's there. I think if I remember, I'll go to that. But that's
and again, join us tomorrow on the show. I've put the link out in a couple different places. I also have sent videos. Someone was just asking about skew. Not that it's off topic, but it's not really on the topic of Raj's webinar today. And it's another thing. I put a link in the chat about skew. It was a video part of the video series Dimitri did about probably a week and a half ago. It's worth watching. And if you have questions from that, I would come on tomorrow's show at 9 a.m. and we'll ask Dimitri if you have any more questions about skew after watching that episode.
Yeah. So this one, for example, is a whole strategy, like a strategy, whether, buying this call and put and how the price has been changing.
So you can actually follow the strategy. Can you, so that's under spread.
Vertical spread. This is straddles, custom spread. Oh, you can
if you put a custom spread.
Yeah. I guess you can do it from here and you say load. This is just a single position and it shows you the price, I guess, right?
There you go. There's a single call.
Yeah, so option premium and stock price. So it's actually comparing the graph to both of them. Anyway, so that's different, but there's some other places too. I'll try to remember when I get there. Okay. So we were in activity. Any other questions related to this page?
No, so we don't.
One of the tips is like anytime you go to the pages, every time you hover over an item and you see this, your icon change to like a finger, that's a link, right? So if you click on the link, you're going to get more data. And same here, like you have the different tabs, you have the different tools to slice and dice this particular format, this particular options chain, depending on what you want to see, right? So that's one of the tips for the newcomers, that every time you see this, you're going to see, more, you can drill down more into that data. Okay, so that's activity. Then there is again this one, open interest. This is the other tab that you use. This looks at the historical open interest in a tabular format. So let's click on this. What did I do? Oh yeah, so there we go. So open interest, and now you can see here you have all the important data in like cards here. So total open interest. You can see the 5-day change. You can see it dissected by call open interest, put open interest, put to call ratio, and you can see how it's changing. So what's the 52-week average? What's the 5-week change or 5-day change? Okay, and there's also analysis at the bottom. So if you click on this eye, if you hover on this eye, it tells you it's of high value. So basically, it's going to give you more information on that. Okay. So now let's look at this open interest data. So if I click on this particular expert, this is what I'm on, and you can see now for that particular strike, am I on AMC? Yeah, I'm on AMC, and for this individual strike, you can see the open interest, whether it's increasing or decreasing, how much it has changed, open percentage change, and number of contracts or positions, how many positions have changed, and what is the actual open interest. So this tells you that today the open interest, yesterday when it closed, it was 8,000. Today it changed by 3,700, and that's a 71% increase, right? So you can look at that, and this is the volume. So you can see that the volume was traded was that, but some of it was opening positions, closing positions, and net of that is this change. So you can see that for individual, and then MarketChameleon gives you its analysis, whether it's a short buildup or a long buildup or whatever. I don't really understand this, so this is a question for Dimitri. I'm still learning about this stuff. Okay, so and you can click on different expirations and see the same kind of data. So this is another place. Then you have, this is basically the first tab, technical analysis. If you go to the second tab, which is 5-day trends by option. So you can see, for individual expirations and trends, what you can see which one has changed the most. Let's say you want to see in 1 day, which one has the most changes, right? In open interest. So this strike, which is the 90 for 17th September, this changed by in 1 day by 15,000, 2 day, and so on and so forth. And historical. So this historical one is going back to basically how's the open interest in AMC or options liquidity in AMC, how has it been changing over time. So if you go back to, let's say, so you can see total open interest is right now here. So at the height of the meme stock mania, I would probably assume that there was a lot more interest. So if you go back to, this is January timeframe, March timeframe. So you can see that it's been ongoing for a long time. So let me go back sometime. So this is in July 2020, and you can see that open interest that time was less than quarter million, and then it started ramping up as it got traction on Reddit and things like that, and you can see that open interest is steadily going up. And now you can see that it's trading from a $250,000 to almost 3 million options traded every day. So you can look at the historical data here of open interest. So this might be useful, if you're doing an analysis, is this particular ticker driven by options rather than fundamentals? So that you can look at the historical data there. Okay, where else do we find open interest? Okay, so now let's look at, if you want to scan the whole market, we're looking at an individual ticker. Let's say you want to scan the market and see which particular tickers are, are open interest or volumes are increasing or decreasing on those ones, right? So few places are, if you under options, if you go to options volumes, for example, right? So this one is, it gives you the highest volume. So if you want to see relative volume to 90-day average, right? So if the volume has increased or decreased, if you click on this, you will come up with some tickers like small cap usually. So this is, let's just take this one. This is 22,000 or 22 times the usual 90-day average. So you can see that 90-day average volume for options, right, was almost 2,000, and now it's 43,000 today. So there is something going on with this particular. So you can identify ones that are, by sorting by different columns here. So I wish on this one, you had filters. This is a suggestion for Dimitri, that you can, like many of the screeners have filters. You can pick by choose by market cap. I don't want to be really looking at something which has so low volumes, like 100 and 200. I want something, let's say, only above 5,000 90-day average volume. So there should be some filters here. Anyway, so this is the higher put or call volume. So this is the second tab. So that's one tab which just gives you raw volumes. Unusual options volume. This is another page where for individual days. So you can even go back historically and see this. So today, you can look at this has this filters here, the ones I was talking about, and you can see by notional dollars or options volume statistics. So again, here you have relative volume. So let me just sort this by the highest relative volume, and this is not going to make sense because this particular ticker is a very low market cap. It's only 213 million, so I'm not going to be really bothered with this, though it has a good options volume. If I click on this, it is very high IV. You can see about this. You can see the card about this immunome. It's a biotech stock and probably related to some news that came out, that volume increase and volatility has increased and stock price also has increased, right? So you can see all of that at a glance. So, and you can sort by different columns. So you want to see the ones, let's say, that had the biggest stock price increase, and you can see the options volume was also increased because there's something going on with this particular tickers. So let's say I want to filter here by, I don't want the penny stocks. I want to see above 5. I want to see market cap should be, let's say, over 1 billion. I don't want these small market caps. And number of trades, let's say I want about 1,000, right? So now it is filtering out that data, and you have more of the steady or stable place. So let's sort this by option volume now. So you can see that the relative volume is 8 times of the usual here. The average volume is this, and this is traded that. And this is again a healthcare stock. And let's say you don't want to look at healthcare, right? So you can also filter this by particular ETFs. So you want to see, let's say, in financial. So only in the financial, and all of these other things apply. And let's sort this again. Why is it not sorting by financial? These are not financials. So let's go back to any or reset this filters. I think this is probably when the market is on. It might change, but it doesn't seem to be doing what I want it to do. Anyway, or you can filter out by whether they belong in a certain ETF or not.
Now this is the perfect time to send an email to support@MarketChameleon.com. if you're finding anything wrong with anything you're doing on Market Chameleon, send an email. Try refreshing first. If it's still not working, you got to let us know, because there's so many pages, and so many different people use different things, and requests have happened, and literally Dimitri's worked and built stuff for different people because they've, talked to him so much. So if you have any questions ever, or you're finding issues with something on Market Chameleon or something's changed, please email us, support@MarketChameleon.com. I will type that in both places as well.
Yeah.
We did have a question, Raj, from Jake.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to.
Sure.
Jake's been very active. I wish he would come on live, but only typing him in. He says he's asking Raj, you research earnings setups. Do you start with open interest or another factor, and then subsequently look at open? I guess he's wondering how you work open interest.
Yeah, that's a good question, because related to earnings and open interest and options liquidity, because what I do, I don't play stock at all. Most of the time, 99% of the time, I'm purely doing options. So even if I'm doing earnings play, I don't do covered calls and things like that. I'm doing pure options plays. So liquidity and volumes and open interest is definitely of interest. So I don't want to do all earnings plays. I want to do earnings plays that have good options liquidity. So I'll show you how to get there. So that's a good question, and I think we dug into this page enough. So let me go to earnings. Now that's another place where you can find options, volumes, and stuff like that. So earnings, stock pattern screener, option strategy, upcoming earnings analysis. So this is the page. So I want to see what are the so I'm going to, if you click on this thing, this particular description, it shows up. If you want to collapse that to save screen space, you can do that. So now this gives me summary, and now this is going to tell me all of the upcoming earnings. I think up to next 2 weeks, or it's actually all upcoming ones. So I can go by different pages. And the ones I want is the full report for next 2 weeks. So this is where I start off. And by default, I've set it to 1,000. So you can see here. So these are for the next 2 weeks. These are the earnings that are coming up. And this is sorted by date. So the nearest one. So you can see 20th July. Now, there are some of them which are a little sketchy, just 1,000 option volume. I'm not really interested. I can always sort by this. But let's say I want to filter by over 5,000, right? So it's a huge market and there's lots of options. No pun intended, but there's lots of plays that you can do. So now here I have the most liquid ones, right? So these are the ones I can play with options. So these are the ones that are coming up. And then I can further sort by, let's say I want, I don't want the micro cap ones. I want, let's say, over 1 billion, or let's say over 5 billion, right? So that doesn't make any change. If I want to do only I'm only interested in the earnings for certain sectors. So let's say I want only financial sector, right? Not much coming up. Financial sector earnings are all done. So let's look at healthcare. So these are the healthcare earnings. So this is now going to honor all the filters I set up, right? Over 5,000, over 5 billion market cap, and only healthcare sector. So I can see these ones. Usually I do any because I want to be diversified. I don't want to just focus on one sector. I want to pick the best opportunities and do this. So after doing that, then I can now, sort this by more, I can, implied. So let's say you can do this, the implied move is more versus the last 12 quarters median. So you can even sort by this. But I usually sort by volume and see, okay, so this one is 27, so I can see the most liquid ones. Or if I do dates, then just sort by date, do this. And if I want to do by implied move, so which one has the biggest implied moves, because that can present a big opportunity, right? So for example, NKL and Nikola. So this one has a 63,000 options volume, and the implied move is 19%, whereas the implied move for the last 4 quarters was only 10. So average of the last 4. For prior 12 quarters, it was 13. So this particular quarter, it's got a big implied move. So that means that you can get more premium for this. So that's another way to look at it. So that should answer Jake's question.
Yeah, that was great.
Okay. So now what time are we at? Oh, it's almost 4. Okay, just 5 minutes remaining. I think I drilled through most pages where you get where you can filter out. The other places I showed you unusual options volume. This most of you may know, or I actually showed this page. So you can look at relative volumes and again filter out by, you know, so stock price above 5 and this, and you can then you can sort by relative volume. So which one has a big volume? So you can see this one, Moderna. Moderna has been in the news. So, you know, 500,000 contracts traded, and it's 7.5 times more than the usual volume, right? So there might be an opportunity here. So this is a place you can look at, and individual options volumes. You can I think I showed this one. Yeah, I think these are some pages. But when you're trading with options, there are options volumes and liquidity is almost there on every screener and every page. So that's the good part. Okay, so just to summarize, you know, the main page is options chain, and here you have these tabs where you can look at the volumes for today and the open interest, and you can look at key trades. So this is one page. So you expand and collapse just by clicking on this particular tab. You can change this particular column to open interest from whatever other data it was showing, both on the call side and the put side, right? You can look at that. And you can see, for example, this was the open interest, and this is, you can compare them side by side. The other place was under activity. So this shows you today's activity for each by strike price, and it shows you the volumes and the open interest. Okay, Will?
Great job, Raj. Great job. You got you answered most of the questions as we rolled through. There were a lot of questions around MarketChameleon. It is a product that has so many pages and so much depth to it. I really recommend everyone come on to the YouTube show in the morning, live at 9 a.m. Just search MarketChameleon.com on YouTube. And there's on our video section of the site, which I put the link in both the Zoom and the YouTube chat. That video section shows the show live. So there are couple places to catch it, and Dimitri, we take questions every day live. So Raj, it's always great to see an active chameleon and hear what you're doing and how you're using the product. Again, Raj and Jake, who is asking the questions, are both active members of a Discord group they created. Actually, I don't know if you know, but Goat was also in the chat, Raj. I haven't heard from him in a while, so he's another great chameleon, and thank God his wife is healthy. They've been battling the new COVID variant, so they've gone through. It was rough, but thank God for that. And again, thank you, Raj, and thank you everyone for joining. It was a great show and much appreciated, Raj.
Yeah, thank you for giving me the opportunity. And yeah, I hope to see you guys on Discord. It's a nice growing community, and lots of ideas are shared and analyzed there. So it's a good place to collaborate for sure.
Again, that Discord, to get the link, you have to email me, williammcbride@gmail.com. The link's in the chat here, the link's on YouTube. It's been mentioned so many times, you can probably just search Discord William McBride at Gmail. It'll pop up on Google.
Yeah. And
anyways, thanks, Raj. Thanks everyone for joining. Welcome to the Chameleon community if it's your first time. And please join the Discord. And Raj, we'll see you in a month, buddy.
Yep, see you.
Trade in peace, everyone. Have a great rest of the month and summer. Bye.
Okay, bye, everybody.